Hey everybody. Hey, this is Mr. Hanson in the high school band room, I guess technically in the high school band office. Hey, I wanted to touch bases about band next year. I'm getting a lot of questions asking, what is band going to look like next year? How is online band in the fall going to be different than online band in the spring? Because to be perfectly honest, that all was kind of trashy. So I just wanted to take a second to answer some of those questions, and I want to make sure that people realize that band in the fall, even though we're starting online, is going to look a little bit different, actually a lot different than it did in the spring. And so when you're kind of trying to figure all that out, and I know this is all really confusing, I just want to make sure you have all the correct information and have a better picture of what things are going to look like. Because I know some people are kind of questioning, do I want to do band again if it's online? I didn't sign up for music theory all year. And those are all legitimate questions. This fall is going to look a lot different. And I'm actually pretty excited about some of the things that we're doing. Now, I'm still building our curriculum, picking out music for this coming year. So I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that I know exactly what the fall is going to look like. If COVID has taught us anything, it's that things are always changing. So, there's a very good chance that I'm going to share a couple ideas with you, and maybe not all of those are going to, come to fruition. All right. But I think there's a lot of this that we're going to be able to put into place. So, just a couple things that are going to be different. First off, we are going to be playing music. And we are going to be playing music online. I know that we can't do live band rehearsing over Zoom with all of our microphones unmuted and everybody's audio coming out at the same time. But I've actually done a lot of research and found ways that we can still make music together in real time online, actually through Zoom. There's going to be a lot of times where people's microphones are muted, but we're going to be able to play along to recordings. I'm going to ask section leaders to demonstrate phrases, and we'll play along to that. I've been watching a lot of videos and checking in with some high school and college band directors about how their bands are still making progress even when they're having to rehearse on Zoom. We're going to warm up together, we're going to tune together, we're going to make music together. And so that's a big change. It's not just going to be a bunch of music theory assignments all year. Another big thing that I want to make sure you know too is that there needs to be a product, right? We have to have some reason why we're practicing the music we're practicing. I know that we all love music, and I know that we all love playing our instrument, but there is something to be said for the fact that we're performers and we want to perform. And so that is going to happen next year. Now, I don't know what that product is going to look like because it might depend on if we're able to have an audience, if we're in person and can at least record or live stream performances, or at the very least, we'll go ahead and do some of those virtual band recordings that you've seen, where everybody will, after practicing together, since we're going to be able to do that, at least over Zoom, you would then record your tracks at home. But there's going to be a concert or a product, right? Because we have to have something to perform. Otherwise, it can kind of feel like, why am I still practicing this music, right? Why am I playing my instrument if I'm never going to show off or share what I've been working on? And I totally get that. I feel the same way. Also, because we are going to get to play music and quite a bit, I'm actually really excited about some of the music I've been looking at for us. And so a lot of big name composers, John Mackey, Frank Ticheli, Brian Balmages, a lot of names that you recognize, they decided to take some of their pre-existing works and rearrange them into like 4 or 5 parts, right? So instead of having to have every instrument covered, they kind of reduced it down to 4 or 5 parts, but they're still really great pieces, really challenging. And here's why this is important. I'm trying to be really smart, which is tough, but I'm trying to be really smart about picking music that's going to work in all settings. If we're on Zoom, it's going to be music that's going to work for that. If we're in person, but we're in a hybrid setup where we only have half of each band, on A days or B days, it's going to work for that because we don't need everybody in the group for the music to be effective. We only need 4 or 5 players, or if we're able to come together, it's still going to sound great. And this is not all easy music. I've been able to find music that's appropriate for all of our bands: concert band, symphonic band, and wind ensemble. So the only difference is that your part's still going to be challenging and just as engaging as it normally would be. It's just that if we're in a smaller group, it's still going to sound full and big because all the parts are covered. So that's a really important thing. Now, there are going to be some academic music activities as well. But it's not just going to be a bunch of music theory or a bunch of YouTube videos that you don't really want to watch. What I'm trying to come up with is sort of like a choose your own adventure thing where you can decide and say, hey, the one day a week, maybe, if that's all it is, when we aren't playing music together, but we're working on these other things, you get to pick and decide what you're going to pursue. So maybe you're somebody who's interested in composition. We'll all have a whole sequence of lessons and things to guide you. Maybe you're really interested in marching band and you want to design drill for a marching band. Maybe you even want to think about what kind of costumes would I use? What kind of props would I use? Or maybe you are interested in music theory or music history. Another big one, because we're going to be working probably on some virtual band projects, people who want to be engineers and want to learn more about doing audio recordings and syncing up and mastering audio excerpts together so we can have like a good sounding band that was all recorded separately. So instead of it just being, hey, everybody do this theory assignment, you're going to be able to pick what track or what subject really interests you. So I guess the bottom line is I just want to make sure you know that it's going to be different. And I really feel like for all of us, myself included, it's going to be a much more positive and like engaging experience than we had in the spring. I am not going to lie to you. I really struggled during the spring. I really had a hard time being fired up and being excited about it because just like you, I'm in band because I want to make music with people I enjoy being around, right? I want to see each other. I want to laugh and make fun of you, and I want you to make fun of me. And we just couldn't do that in the spring. And again, nothing is going to replace being in the band room. But I'm working really hard to try to find as many ways to recreate that even in an online setting. And so hopefully as I kind of share some of those ideas with you, you can kind of think and realize, okay, yeah, this is going to be different than what it was. If you have any questions at all, please email me. My email address is popping up right here. So go ahead and shoot me an email. And I'd be happy to tell you more about the music I'm picking out. If you have questions about what next year is going to look like, I'll do my best to answer because, again, things are still sort of in flux. They're going to change. Or even if you're not sure that you can take band both semesters, or you're not sure if you even want to. I get it. I understand those questions. So please email me. I'd be happy to help you with that. As a final pitch, I put together this really great promotional reel highlighting all the awesome experiences that we've had in the past that you want to make sure and be a part of in the future. If that's not convincing, I don't know what is. So, in the end, like I said, and in all seriousness, I just want to hopefully clarify some things and let you know it is going to be different. We are going to be seeing each other, making music together, And we're going to make sure and set it up so that as soon as we're back in person, whenever that happens, the music we pick, the way we're practicing, the projects that we're working on, we can go from online to in person and not skip a beat. Pun intended, which was actually very accidental, but it worked out. And accidental is another musical term too. Wow, I'm on fire. I got to get back to teaching normal people because talking alone in the office is really starting to get to me. If you have any questions, send me an email, and I look forward to seeing you in person, digitally, whatever, this fall.